Hey guys! Okay, so this is my first time going live in two places at the same time, so bear with me. I hope everything goes as planned. So today I wanted to jump on and I wanted to talk about, some pretty big stuff. Some stuff that can be a little hard to talk about, and some stuff that a lot of us deal with, and a lot of us deal with in secret. Now, the first thing I want to say before we even start is that my approach 100% comes from a holistic approach background, okay? Always, always, always work with a mental health expert, your doctor or physician, before doing any sort of transition for anything related to mental health. But today we are going to talk about holistic approaches and things we can do to help in the areas of anxiety and depression. This includes postpartum as well, which my background, as well as many of you know that have followed my journey, I had started like a big part of my health journey, though it's been going on for, I've had a holistic background for about 18 years. But a big part of my journey in the past 3 years had to do with postpartum depression and postpartum anxiety. And that is a big part of how I really started getting big into the nutrition aspect of that. Now I have really branched off into the mindset, whole body balance part of this. And there are so many keys and components to us. So if you want to just focus on one piece of you, probably you're going to be leaving out a whole lot of other pieces. And so this is going to kind of try to bring it all together and maybe answer a lot of questions, because I feel like in the past week I've had a lot of questions in the same area, and I thought if I made a live about this, it would be a lot easier. So always remember, guys, anxiety and depression is no joke. It is a very, very, very serious condition. If somebody is coming to you that has this and is dealing with this, please do not brush it off. It is so, so, so important that we recognize and we meet people where they're at, and we listen to people. Okay, we spend a whole lot of time talking, as I'm talking on Facebook Live right now. We spend a whole lot of time talking, and if we spent a lot more time listening, we would learn so much more about who we are speaking with, and we would be able to be there with them. And sometimes just being with somebody and hearing them out and knowing where they are could be life-changing for them. So number one, keep that in mind always, all right? Number two, so always make sure that if you are having serious mental health issues, please see a counselor, a licensed social worker, a psychologist, a psychiatrist, whatever is in alignment with you and what you need. Please seek that help. Okay? A holistic approach may not be right for you, but if it is, some of these tools may help. Now, the great thing about doing anything holistic and using different holistic approaches is you can pair that with medicine, all right? They go hand in hand. Now, many of us choose to do more holistic to try to weed off going off meds, but never, please, ever, ever, ever in a million years go off meds without help from your physician, right? They are the professionals at that. You are the professional at you. Remember this. I want everybody to say this that's watching this video. I am a professional at me. There is nobody on this earth, period, nobody at all, that knows you better than you. And you can argue this to whatever you want. Nobody knows you better than you, because nobody on this earth is living in your skin how you are. Okay? Really remember this. Really remember this. This is super, 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 super important, because if you are in tune with you, and you pay attention to you, and you acknowledge you will create and have so much more power when you go and seek help, whether that be from a holistic health expert or a medical professional, whoever it is. But remember, you're going into a room where somebody may know you for 15 minutes, or they may know what you wrote on paper, but they know you for your entire life. And maybe you've denied part of you, and maybe you've ignored part of what your body may want, but you still know you, okay? And so somebody telling you, whether it be me or any book or anybody out there, what you need to do is not you. So take information, digest it, apply it, and know your truth. And how I say my truth is to me is if something is light or heavy, right? If I say something and I get a pit in my stomach, I know that's heavy, right? If I say like I'm ugly, you guys, my body doesn't like to be called it's ugly. And I talked about this in my last Facebook Live, but they've done studies on plants. If you talk to a plant mean, it shows they start to die. And when the plants were spoken to in really nice, loving ways, remember, plants don't have brains, they start to grow and live and thrive. If you are telling your body negative things and your body is reacting in a negative way and you're denying that, your body is going to continue to act in a negative way. So if you are being told to do something and your body's going, I really don't want to. And not just, I really don't want to, I'm being stubborn, but that feeling, and you all know that feeling, don't pretend you don't, because we all know it. Guys, you better listen, because that's a sign your body's telling you. But if you learn something or you feel something and you go, oh my God, this is it. That is the piece I've been missing, which I just got goosebumps when I said that. Then you know you're on the right track, okay? So remember this. Remember this with diet. Remember this when adding supplements. Remember this when choosing exercises that your body wants to do. Remember this in balanced mindset activities, okay? Listen to your body. So keep that in mind. I know that was a long, lengthy intro, but I really want everybody to understand there is balance and everyone can work together. Okay, so something I want to address from the get-go that keeps coming up, I've talked about this probably about 12 times in the past 8 days. Gluten. Okay? Gluten, some people is like, gluten, some people get anxiety. What do I do? What do I do? Gluten. This is this big old F word. Okay. Remember, you guys, I want to explain gluten as a whole. Now, some people are not gluten intolerant. Some people are wheat intolerant. Okay. But sometimes gluten, because wheat is so processed and GMOs and blah, 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 and dwarf wheat. And if you want to do the research on wheat, go ahead. Just keep in mind, a slice of wheat bread has a higher glycemic index than table sugar, okay? Remember that. So when we're talking about inflammation and sugar in the body, you want to keep that part in mind, all right? And wheat tends to be something people are more even sensitive than gluten. But because so many things are added and processed and so many of the easy yuck foods, junk, not food, okay? I don't call it junk food because it's just junk, great? It's not real food. It's added to things that our bodies become intolerant to this because this isn't how we live. This isn't how we've evolved from. Now, some people, depending on you and your body and your so many things, your makeup and your blood type and blah, blah, blah. There's tons of components, okay? There is no one size fits all to you. Remember, you know you. You know how you feel. That it can cause an inflammatory response. Now, that doesn't mean you have to have full-blown celiac, but an inflammatory response, the more inflammatory responses you have in your body, the more you're going to feel icky, yucky, and not good. So if you eat something and you feel icky, yucky, and not good, your body doesn't want it. So don't keep eating it and don't keep going, oh man, I'm going to eat this pizza, but I'm going to feel so gross. Guys, you just told yourself you're going to feel gross. When do you go eat gross things and put it in your mouth and say, oh God, you're literally putting grossness in your body. It's the same thing if you're going to go eat chocolate cake. Oh my God, I'm going to eat this chocolate cake and it's going to be amazing. And there's no guilt. But if you eat that chocolate cake, oh God, I really shouldn't eat this. This is so bad for me, but oh my gosh, I can't resist it. And you eat that chocolate cake. And you just keep eating past when your stomach hurts, you're going to regret that because you just put all that and you told yourself how bad it was for you. And then you put all this stuff in and then you're putting bad stuff in your body. Well, what if it wasn't bad? What if you had a slice of chocolate cake? It was fantastic and you enjoyed it and you loved it. And guess what? Your body may react completely different. So keep that in mind. But going back to gluten itself, on a physical reaction way, how it affects the body, okay? You may not be gluten intolerant, but if you're suffering a lot in your life with anxiety and depression, it may be something to consider. Here's why. Now, this was drastically huge for me and my husband and my son, okay? My son had severe anxiety as well, and so did I. Once gluten was removed from our diets, we saw a really, really, really big change in that. Now, here's why. Gluten affects the nervous system. So yes, it affects the whole body and digestion and blah, blah, blah. Okay, that's separate. But this is what specifically this is about. It affects the nervous system. So if this is, I'm going to do a really simple way, and if you're super sciencey, you can go research the really complex way, but super simple way. If this is the nerve part, okay, the nerve ending, and there's myelin sheath on there, okay? Well, gluten has such a similarity to that myelin sheath that it starts to attach to it. And it makes your nerves sticky. And it makes your nervous system sticky. Now, when something is sticky, the response is slower, which means you're not getting the same response as if that gluten wasn't there and the body was functioning as it's supposed to be, and getting that clear response. So that is one thing that I recommend right away. If you're having a lot of issues that don't seem to be getting better no matter what you do, your diet could really benefit by eliminating gluten. Now, here's the thing. 5 weeks it takes to clear the nervous system. 5. So before you go and add it back in, get that paper clean. So I want you to think, if there's a big white piece of paper, that paper is nice and flat piece of paper, and you have all this dirt all over that paper, right? That pile of dirt, you can see the white underneath, but there's dirt all over that paper. If you add a few more grains of sand to that paper, are you gonna see it? Probably not, okay? But if you clear that paper off and that paper is shiny white and you add 1 speck of dirt onto that paper, are you gonna see it? Yes. So that is really, really, really important when testing something like that on your system, okay? And people that tell me they go gluten light, there's no such thing when it comes to this particular, specifically what we're talking about, okay? When it comes to the nervous system and the brain. Now, omegas are so important for your brain, guys. I can't even enough. Trans fats will fill. If you think of your brain filled with parking spots, okay? There's all these parking spots for all these cars, and the only cars that really want to park in there are the Ferraris, okay? The Ferraris are your omegas. But instead, we eat all kinds of trans fats, yuck, which is a chemical process type of fat that the body doesn't know what to do with. They fill those parking spaces, so now you've got junkyard cars parking in your brain. You're making a dumb brain, literally. Okay, you want to get those trans fats out, avoid them with all life, and high omegas, omega-3, omega-6, omega-9. We end up with a very, very, very high omega-6 diet in general in our culture, so be very, very careful. You don't need to add tons of more extra of that, because too much of one can actually be inflammatory as well. So getting a good balance, high omega-3s, up, okay? Omega-9s, the GLA fats are so, omega-9s are fantastic, but GLA fats too are so fantastic for brain support. And there's only 3 GLA fats: blackcurrant oil, borage oil, and primrose oil. And those are so fantastic too for that brain support. So that's another really, really big thing. Then we have that gut-brain connection, right? It's what we've all been talking about. We've been talking about it a ton. They have the Human Microbiome Project. This is a huge deal. It's where science is moving over and over. I had a long talk with my son's integrative medical doctor about this, and he's like, in 5-6 years, it's all you're going to hear. It's where science is moving. And so it's not just us making up this gut-brain connection, right? Serotonin, so much of it is made in the gut. So much dopamine, so much melatonin. You guys, our hormones really do have that connection. And if you have a sticky connection, guess what? You're going to have issues. Now, if you have leaky gut and your body is not processing correctly and absorbing those nutrients correctly, and if you don't know what leaky gut is, we're not talking about today, go ahead, look it up, but how it's leaking into the body and causing an autoimmune response and causing more inflammation, all of that is going to affect your brain and how you are functioning, okay? So keep all those things in mind. Gut-brain connection, high omegas, watching what you eat, no excitotoxins, yuck. If you don't know what excitotoxin is, look it up. Excitotoxins, no, things like MSG, food dyes, chemical food additives, yuck, bleh, they cross the blood-brain barrier. Okay, that means what is going through one side is going to cross through and affect inside, and we don't want that. Okay, you can look up the science behind it, but it is seriously, when you go and look up excitotoxins, be prepared, because it does show what that does to the brain, and it is why so many of those things are not allowed in food in other countries, but they are here. So not good. Don't eat them. Okay, again, that goes to junk, not food, right? We eat real foods that our body can actually use. Now, the other thing I want you to keep in mind is magnesium. Magnesium is a huge component for anxiety and depression as well, because magnesium deficiency is so high, especially in the United States, okay? Really make sure you're getting, now you want your RDA is like, depending on your age, and if you're a male and you're female, you know, anywhere with 320, 360, 380, it's like right in there. That's RDA, recommended daily allowance, and RDAs are your absolute minimum your body needs. Most of us are not even getting that. So really make sure, and when you come from a holistic approach, you actually, depending on what you're trying to address, may need more to balance something out. So again, get a professional, whether it's a holistic health professional or whatever it is, if you need more and you need support, because magnesium is fantastic for brain support. All right, so now we've got those things. Oh, blood sugar, hello. If you have too much sugar in your body, it causes too much inflammation, and inflammation is going to affect your brain. Guys, the brain feeds on glucose. That's what it feeds on. If that is all out of whack, you are in trouble. So you want to keep those blood sugars stable, period. Now, the other piece I really want to talk about today is mindset. Now, I talked about this today. If we're feeding our body something and we're telling it it's bad, our body's going to think it's bad, right? It doesn't know anything else. It's the same if you want to look up that plant study. It's pretty phenomenal. There's other studies done with water and water crystals, and when the water crystals were placed on different words, how the crystals formed. It's really phenomenal what this is. And they say because every cell has a consciousness, every cell. Now, consciousness has nothing to do with the brain, so keep that in mind. But they say that is the relationship to it. It's pretty phenomenal. It's pretty fantastic. But when you talk mean and you talk bad and you're talking bad to yourself and you're not acknowledging you. So if you have a pain in your body, okay, say my shoulder hurts. I have pain in my body. Now, what if that pain in my body, what if we just simply said it was an intensity in our body? So having a lot of intensity and awareness right here in my shoulder. What is this? And I ask, what is this? Now my body's trying to get my attention. What do you need, body? Oh, maybe it needs stretching. Maybe it needs me to do a different activity than what I'm doing. Maybe I need to get up and walk around. Maybe I need to stop leaning like this while I'm driving. Whatever it is, maybe I need to be more positive. Maybe I need to go for a walk and get some fresh air. But whatever it is, if you can actually listen to your body and the response and not deny it, not say you're dumb, you're stupid, I don't have time for that. Remember, if you don't have time for you, who has time for you? Take time for you, guys. 5 minutes. I don't even care what it is, but take time for you. This body that is making you in your world works really hard so you can be here. So maybe if you looked at that, you would have a lot more success. Now, the last thing I want to talk about is when we think of mindset and we are having a lot of anxiety. Remember, if we're having a lot of anxiety, we're pushing to where our focus is on the future. If we have a lot of depression, our focus is on the past. If we have anxiety and depression, we're trying to bring the past into the future. Who wants to do that? Raise your hand, please. I don't want to bring my past into my future. There's no reason, right? Because the only things we can actually create in our life is actually what we already know. So, for example, if I know at this point in my life, I felt this way, so I felt great. I was 21. This was what's going on. I felt great. This is what my body is, so I'm going to go do that again. Well, guess what, guys? I'm 38. I've had three babies and the hormones and this and that. Do you think my body's going to respond the same way it did at 21? I hear it over and over and over and over. Well, I used to do it. It doesn't work anymore. Guys, you're not the same. Stop bringing your past into your future. Just stop. Create right now. And create right now by listening to your body. If you stopped pushing so hard and worrying about the future because you cannot control it, and opened up to the possibility, what other opportunities are open to me? What other possibilities are open to me? What possibilities are open to me in this situation that I'm not seeing? Okay, ask a question. Because when you ask a question, you're opening up to the possibility of something that you don't know showing up. I see it over and over and over. Since I've opened up to the options of possibility, things have completely changed in my life because options are showing up that I didn't even know were there for me. But I didn't know because I could only create what I knew from my past. Your mind only knows what it knows, all right? So if you've never seen something before, your body's not going to know, like, if you try a food and you've never had it before, your body's going to try to recognize it and make it some, oh, this tastes like this or tastes like that or tastes like this, but it doesn't know what that food is until you've been told, right? It's the same thing with life and experience. So too much anxiety, you're pushing to the future. Too much depression, you're pulled in the past. You're stuck in the past. Anxiety and depression, you're trying to pull your past into your future. Remember, guys, that's going to create a whole lot more anxiety because most of us don't want what we did in the past. Even if we have a fantastic past, we all have ups and downs. That's just life. It really is. We have to balance it out. Good stuff, bad stuff. Otherwise, you don't have to have judgment on it. It's our experience and it's who we are now. And I'm pretty sure every single one of you, and you can say, oh, I'm not that great. I would disagree. You're all pretty flippin' great people, and you were all created in that same way to be pretty great and to share your gifts with the world, whether you recognize them or not. So moving back into the future, now some people say, I share my gifts with the world, I get anxiety because then I don't know what I'm supposed to do. You don't have to. Ask a question. Universe, what am I supposed to do? Why is my arm hurting? Just ask. And don't try to find the answer using your brain. Like Tony Robbins says, and I'll say this a million times, he says it over and over and over, we have a 2 million old brain. If you're going to use an excuse for something, or you're going to do something based on that brain, realize there's hundreds and thousands of millions of other people doing the exact same thing. And if you don't want that action, you don't want that to come out, you got to make a change. And that moves me to my last talk about action versus reaction. So if you take that action, just do something. Stop standing where you are if you don't like it. If you're standing in dog shit, move over. That simple. Okay, well, I'm standing in dog shit and I moved over and now I'm standing in dog piss and I don't like that. So move over and keep moving until you're standing on light, fluffy unicorns. I don't care, but keep moving. Nothing is holding you back but you and your fear of the future. Yet you don't know what that is except that you're pulling it back from your experience from the past. Okay? Keep moving. And those steps, guys, they can be this big. It doesn't matter. But the worst thing you can do is freeze where you're at and then be miserable there. Because the only thing that's going to take you forward is action. Instead of the things constantly coming at you and reacting. Does that make sense? We don't have to be reactory. We can just make a different choice. Well, this person says I need to pay them this and I need a bill and I have this and I got to do all this. Those are reactions. Instead of saying, oh, well, I love my cable, so I'm going to pay my bill. That's a choice, right? That's a totally different perspective, but it's the same thing. I have to pay this bill. No, you really don't. You're choosing because you want that cable or whatever it is. Okay? You want that car. You want whatever it is. It's your choice. It's what you've created in your life. And if you don't like it, choose different. Now, if you need support in those choices and you need support in that change, that's what people like me are here for. So please feel free to reach out. I'm happy to schedule sessions, right? That's where we do. We motivate and apply steps towards that change you want. But really remember, if you're feeling very anxious, future, past, come together and be in the present. See where you are, tune into your body. Body, what do you need right now? What choice can I make right now to calm? What can I do right now to feel better? Just ask the questions and just be for a minute. And if you just stop for, I'm not even joking, a minute, you'll feel compelled to do something. And those simple 10-second changes, right? If most of us were told, you have 10 seconds to live, what would you do? You go like this. That's not making a choice. That's being reactory. Okay, I'm dead. That's it. No, make a choice. If I have 10 seconds to live, I'm going to walk this way and I'm going to see what other possibilities are open to me. Oh, look, there's a window. I'm going to go that way. What other possibility? 10 more seconds. Okay, I'm going to go this way. If I've got 10 seconds left, I'm going to go find myself a unicorn, and that's always what I want to meet one. Whatever it is. Yes, I'm completely crazy. Okay? Whatever it is. And this all does tie into anxiety and depression. Okay? So, if you have questions on this or whatever, I tried to tie in the nutrition mindset component. I know it was a little long, but guys, we are whole people. And if you only deal with one component and you take 1,000,000 supplements and you're still eating that crap and talking to yourself like you are the biggest piece of shit on the earth, your body is going to hate you. And I can't do anything for you. And whoever's trying to help you can't do anything for you. So maybe if we could break open the shell a little bit and open to the possibility that we can be something else and use the supplements to help our body and use our food to help our body and use the sunlight to help our body, use our families, that maybe we can be the people we want present in our lives, creating the cool things that we want to create, not really worrying about it. And if you don't like the outcome, making a different choice. Okay? So I'm super here to support you guys. Let me know if you have any questions. I hope you guys have a fantastic day. All right, bye-bye.